Hi, this is Isabel Litzler. So in today's video, I will cover the topic of thank you note. So the month of September is really all interview related. So I shared a lot already on the process before, during, and now after with the thank you note. So there's a lot of things out there about thank you notes, whether you should use them or not. I tend to support using thank you note because it's an extra way to convince the panel or the recruiter that you're the right person for the job. So I would not skip that part. Every part is an important part of the process and should not be skipped in my view because it's supporting why you're the right person for the position. So I want to give you 3 tips on how to make this thank you note as efficient as possible. So the first thing is to reaffirm what you said already during the interview. So you take the high points during the interview where you understood at some point that the recruiter was really interested, and you would state that again. So if you were, let's say, applying for a marketing job and at some point you covered how you build a campaign, let's say communication campaign, recruiter was very interested because this is a big part of the current job you're applying for, restate that again in your thank you note. So that's one example. If you're applying for very prestigious type of jobs, I don't think it's necessarily the case for the Swiss type of work, but let's say luxury, fashion, entertainment, then I would probably advise to do something a little bit outside of the box. So maybe a thank you note handwritten on a very unusual type of support would be interesting. But again, here I'm going with the global corporate job. So if you're applying for an accountant or marketing or all these corporate jobs, just a nice email would do, but make sure that you state everything that's important there. So number 1 would definitely be to state your skills again. Number 2 is to find those links with the recruiter or the manager that you will work for. If it's with the manager, it's even better because in the end, the link should be with the manager. It's great if you connect well with the recruiter, but you're not going to work for them directly. So the examples would be more interesting if it's from your manager or coworker, someone you're going to work with on a regular basis. So let's say you share the same passion for sports, for example, and you talked quite a lot about sports during your interview. It could happen. So you would just state that again, that you share also the passion for sports, for performance and achieving and all that stuff. That's usually, sports are usually a big part of a big part of the recruitment process, and this is why I always advise people to put it on the resume as well. Some people get recruited just for that because they were part of a football team and the manager is a big football player or baseball player, for if you think more of a US type of example. So in Switzerland it would be skiing, obviously. If you're a big ski fan and you actually you're part of a ski team and your boss is really big on that, that can get you the job. So that's why I say it's quite important, the passions and the hobbies. So that's number 2. If you have a common hobby, passion, something that's a little bit outside of the scope of the job. And number 3 is always offer at the end of the thank you note to talk again, to continue the contact, because again, you want to, the idea behind it is to get the next interview. So if you're still in the process, maybe it's the second interview, but you still have more coming up, the thank you note should be repeated each time and should link to the next interview. So always make sure you keep it as an open question there. I would be happy to talk more with you and I hope to see you soon in the next interview. Would you have a date yet? Or something that really shows you believe in yourself, you're confident about the whole thing, and you're leading also the process with the recruiter, you're showing some motivation. So you're not just saying, yeah, thank you very much for the interview, and you sign your name. This is just too standard and too a little bit too standard and too basic. But if you go with a question mark at the end or invite for the next step of the process, you show a little bit more of a drive there to get the job. And this is also what recruiters are looking for. They're looking for motivated people who have a real interest in the job and want to go to the next step and not just go a little bit through the motions without any type of motivation. So these are the 3 steps. I will repeat them again. So number 1, make sure to state the skills that are really important for the job. Number 2, any passion that you have in common with recruiter or any member of the panel, especially a manager. And number 3, put a question mark out there or a call to action, to use a marketing term, to go to the next level or the next stage with the team. So I hope this was helpful. As usual, feel free to comment below. I will talk to you soon.